The whole village went quiet. Even the birds in the trees seemed to stop singing. Nkiru stood in front of the sacred tree, her heart beating fast, like a talking drum. The warm light that had wrapped around her slowly faded, but the feeling stayed inside her chest. It felt like the tree had placed a small fire of courage within her. Elder Obiako looked at Nkiru with wide eyes. His wrinkled face, which had seen many seasons, now showed something new: hope. "The tree has chosen you," the elder said slowly. "It has rejected proud men, brave warriors, and even rich chiefs. Yet, it has opened itself to a humble girl like you." The crowd started murmuring. "Why her? What makes Nkiru special? Is she really worthy?" But Nkiru didn't feel special. She felt scared. "Elder," she whispered, her voice barely audible, "I am just a simple girl who fetches water for my mother. I know nothing about magic or spirits. Why would the tree choose me?" Elder Obiako placed a gentle hand on her shoulder. "Because, my daughter," he said softly, "the sacred tree does not choose by strength. It chooses by heart." He turned to the crowd, his voice rising with authority. "Long before any of us were born, this tree made a promise to our people. It vowed to protect this village from drought, from sickness, and from the anger of the forest spirits. But for its magic to work, it must have one human keeper. What does the keeper do?" Someone shouted from the back of the crowd. "The keeper listens," Elder Obiako replied, his gaze sweeping over the villagers. "The keeper respects the land. The keeper stands as a bridge between the spirit world and the human world." Silence fell over the crowd once more. Nkiru's mind began to spin. A keeper. Me. It was a role from ancient legends, a story told to children. How could it be real? How could it be her? That was when the ground under the tree started to shake. Small stones trembled on the earth. Leaves rained down from the branches, even though there was no wind. The trunk of the sacred tree began to crack slowly, a deep groan echoing through the village square, like it was opening a mouth to speak. Step by step, the villagers backed away, their murmurs turning to gasps of fear. Only Nkiru remained standing, her feet seemingly rooted to the spot. From the opening in the ancient trunk, a soft green light glowed, growing brighter and brighter, until it was almost blinding. Then, a figure slowly stepped out. It was tall and seemed to be made of glowing mist and woven vines. It didn't look human, yet it radiated an aura of profound peace. Its eyes shone like morning dew on a spider's web, and its voice sounded like the wind whispering through the deepest parts of the forest. "I am the forest guardian," the spirit said calmly, its voice resonating in everyone's mind. Some villagers fell to their knees, others covered their faces, too terrified to look directly at the otherworldly being. The spirit turned its glowing eyes to Nkiru. "You have been watched since you were a child," it continued, its voice gentle yet powerful. "We saw when you shared your small portion of food with hungry children. We saw when you took the time to water the dying plants by the riverbank. We saw when you refused to cheat in the market, even when no one was watching." Nkiru swallowed hard, her throat suddenly dry. "But I am not perfect," she said, her voice shaking. "I have been selfish, I have been angry, I am not worthy. That is precisely why you were chosen," the guardian replied, a hint of a smile in its voice. "Only those who know they are not perfect can become truly wise. Pride blinds the spirit, but humility opens it." The guardian stretched out an arm made of pure light and touched the cracked bark of the sacred tree. A wave of sadness seemed to flow from it. "This tree is dying," a shocked cry rose from the villagers. "What? Dying? How can that be?" "The sacred tree cannot die. It is eternal." The guardian's voice grew heavy with sorrow. "It is being drained by a darkness from deep beneath the land. An ancient force has been disturbed, a malevolent spirit that hates peace and feeds on fear. If it is not stopped soon, it will not only kill this tree, but also consume the life of this entire village." Elder Obiako's staff dropped from his trembling hand, clattering on the hard-packed earth. "Then what must be done?" he asked, his voice filled with dread. The guardian looked directly at Nkiru, its gaze piercing and absolute. "The keeper must journey into the forbidden part of the forest," it declared. "You must find the source of this darkness and confront it before the next full moon." Gasps of horror filled the air. The forbidden forest. "No one returns from there," one person cried. "It is full of deadly spirits and creatures of nightmare." Another added, It is a place even the bravest warriors fear to tread. Nkiru felt her legs shake uncontrollably. The Forbidden Forest was a place of terrifying bedtime stories, a shadow that loomed at the edge of their lives. They said it was a forest so dark, it swallowed the sun even at midday. They said strange whispers followed anyone who dared to go close, whispers that could drive a person mad. People had gone inside before, and they had never returned. "You must go alone," the guardian added, its voice leaving no room for argument. "Only the chosen keeper can enter its depths and survive the trials within." Nkiru turned to her people, the villagers she had known her whole life. She saw raw fear in their eyes. She saw doubt. In some faces, she saw a silent, desperate prayer that it would be someone, anyone else. Then her gaze found her mother, standing at the edge of the crowd. Tears streamed down her mother's face as she shook her head slowly, her eyes begging her daughter not to even consider it. Nkiru's heart broke. The thought of leaving her mother, of walking into almost certain death, was unbearable. But then she looked back at the sacred tree, the great, ancient being that had shaded her as a child. The tree that gave fruit to hungry families in times of need. The tree that had protected their village through long, dry seasons and fierce storms. If it died, their entire world would wither and die with it. A quiet resolve settled over her fear. "I will go," Nkiru said, her voice soft but clear. The villagers gasped again, this time in disbelief. "But I am afraid," she continued, her voice gaining a slight tremor. "I don't know what waits for me in that forest. I don't know if I am strong enough. But I cannot stand here and do nothing while our home dies." The guardian nodded slowly, a proud, ancient light shining in its eyes. "Then your journey begins at sunrise tomorrow," it announced. "Prepare your heart, child, for the forest does not test the body. It tests the soul." A powerful wind suddenly swept through the village, kicking up dust and leaves in a swirling vortex. The guardian's green light faded, receding back into the tree trunk. The deep crack in the bark slowly sealed itself, leaving no trace it had ever been there. And just as quickly as it began, everything became quiet again. Nkiru stood there, alone in the center of the square, staring at the now silent tree, knowing with absolute certainty that her life would never be the same again. That night, the village could not sleep. Dogs howled at a moon that seemed too bright. Owls hooted from the rooftops with unsettling cries. In the village square, the sacred tree glowed faintly in the darkness, a soft, green pulse like a slow-beating heart. And far away, deep within the suffocating shadows of the Forbidden Forest, two burning red eyes opened in the gloom. A low, guttural voice hissed through the trees, a sound like grinding stones. "So, the keeper is finally coming." Before the sun even rose, Nkiru was already awake. She sat on her small mat, staring at the dark ceiling of her family's hut. Every sound outside made her heart jump. The wind, the insects, the distant call of an owl. All of it reminded her of what waited in the Forbidden Forest. Her mother entered quietly and sat beside her. "My daughter," she whispered, holding her hands tightly. "If there were any other way, I would stop you, but I know your heart is strong. And it is good. I am afraid, Mama," Nkiru admitted, her voice soft. "But if I don't go, the sacred tree will die. And the village will suffer." Tears filled her mother's eyes. "Then take this," she said, placing a small wooden necklace in her palm. "It was given to me by your grandmother. It is a symbol of protection and courage." Nkiru gently tied it around her neck. "I will return," she promised. "I don't know how, but I will." Outside, the villagers were already gathering in silence. No laughter, no noise. Only worried faces and quiet prayers followed her as she took her first steps toward the edge of the Forbidden Forest. The trees there were different, their branches twisted like long fingers. The air felt heavy, even the sunlight seemed afraid to enter. A cold wind followed her as soon as she crossed the invisible line into the forest. "Remember, the forest tests the soul," she whispered to herself. As she walked deeper, strange whispers filled the air. Go back, this is not your place." Shadows moved between trees, the ground became muddy and cold. Every step felt harder than the last, then she saw it. In the center of the forest stood a broken, black tree, dead, twisted, and surrounded by strange dark smoke. The ground around it was cracked, and everything nearby had turned brown and lifeless. "This must be the source," Nkiru whispered. Suddenly, the ground shook. From behind the dead tree, a dark spirit slowly rose. It was huge, made of shadow, with burning red eyes and a voice that sounded like thunder mixed with anger. "So, you are the new keeper," it growled. "You are too small, too weak." To human, fear rushed through Nkiru's body. Her hands trembled. "I am afraid," she said, her voice shaking. "But I will not allow you to destroy my home." The spirit laughed loudly. "You think love and courage can defeat me?" Dark vine shot from the ground and wrapped around Nkiru's legs and arms. She cried out in pain as they pulled her closer to the dead tree. "You will watch the sacred tree die. And then you will join it." Nkiru closed her eyes, remembering the smiling faces of the village children, the gentle shade of the sacred tree, her mother's warm hug, and then she felt the necklace on her chest begin to glow. A warm light spread through her body, stronger than fear. "You do not own this land," she shouted with new strength. "It belongs to life." The wooden necklace burst into bright golden light. The vines burned away. The ground stopped shaking. From far away, the voice of the forest guardian echoed through the trees. "Now, keeper, touch the earth and speak with truth." Nkiru placed her hands on the ground and shouted with all her heart, "I swear to protect this land. As long as I live, I choose life over darkness. Peace over fear, love over hate," the earth answered. Roots of pure light rose from the ground and wrapped around the dark spirit, pulling it down, down, deep beneath the soil. The spirit screamed in anger as it disappeared. The broken black tree cracked, then crumbled, and finally turned into ash. All around, green grass began to grow again. Flowers bloomed instantly where darkness once lived. And in the distance, a warm pulse of light spread through the entire forest. Traveling back to the village, back in the village, the sacred tree began to shine brighter than ever. Its leaves turned a deep, healthy green, fresh fruits appeared on its branches. Its roots glowed through the earth like rivers of light. The villagers watched in amazement. "She has done it. Nkiru has saved us. The keeper has won." When Nkiru returned to the village at sunset, weak but alive, the people ran to her with tears of joy. Even the oldest men bowed their heads in respect. Elder Obiako smiled, his eyes filled with pride. "From today forward, you are not just Nkiru the village girl," he said. "You are Nkiru, keeper of the sacred tree." A gentle wind moved through the branches above them, almost like the tree was saying thank you. Nkiru looked up and smiled. She knew her life would never be normal again. But she also knew one powerful truth. She had become part of something bigger than herself, and the sacred tree would live on. Moral lessons from this story. True power comes from a pure heart, not from strength or size. Courage is not the absence of fear, but choosing to act even when afraid. When you protect nature, nature will protect you in return. If you enjoyed this powerful African folktale, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to this channel for more stories filled with wisdom, magic, and powerful life lessons. Turn on the notification bell so you don't miss the next story. Would you have the courage to face the forbidden forest like Nkiru? Thank you for watching.